We met in the dark at 7:30 p.m. at Potter Heigham Church, clad in warm gear, wellies and carrying torches. For our nocturnal 3-mile walk to Candle Dyke on Hickling Broad, we were given sonic bat detectors. In awed silence we trudged along the misty, muddy tracks, cautiously avoiding the reedy edges which concealed deep water-filled dykes. It was totally unnerving, not being able to see any landmarks in this wild, dark space, with a sense of actually being lost. The ranger occasionally paused to identify the different bat species from the distinct clicking noises on our receivers, and pointed out the ghostly flight of a white barn owl. Stopping next at a field gate, the ranger explained how this wide expanse of marshland had been gradually changing over the years, and how the Broadlands Authority worked to preserve the habitat. A mist hung low and romantically over the marshes, with a black, star-filled sky. Cows peered through the mist and gloom over the gate in a curiosity at our bobbing torches. We plodded further on until we came to an isolated, derelict wickerman's cottage. It was still standing, but now boarded up and inhabited only by owls. In the past he had a thriving business, making wicker baskets for eel trapping, but that business is sadly now totally depleted. Not seen at night are the numerous water draining mills, and currently some modern diggers making new dykes across this National Trust property. These steps lead to the Dyke. These daytime shots show the 200-year-old Eel Sett, possibly the oldest in the world, and preserved by the Kinder family. They built this Bolton and Paul wooden thatched bungalow in 1934. The current elderly widow made tea and cakes and served us by candlelight. There is no electricity, and recently it had to be raised on stilts to stop it flooding. It is thanks to this family the Sett is still here and usable. Along from the Holt bungalow is the daytime view of the eel catcher's hut. He would stay here in solitude for 2 weeks at a time, emerging at night to land his eel catch. On the left you can just see the iron winch for lifting the chains from the riverbed. Standing outside the eel catcher's hut, the ranger showed a variety of preserved eel catching equipment. The net showed holes where otters had attacked the eels. These forks are now banned as being illegal. The eels are currently caught by her and her team at night, and then kept in these boxes to be weighed and examined, then returned to the river. It was while the ranger fried everyone a sample of eel in bacon fat that we visited Mrs. Kinder in the Holt. This is where I fell down the steps in the dark and broke my torch. The eel tasted delicious for those who knew how to navigate the flesh with their teeth around the central spinal bone. After refreshments, the chains were raised in the misty blackness of the river with the winch gear. The ranger and helper cast off in the boat and demonstrated how the nets and baskets were raised. It looked like very heavy work. The trapped eels were transferred to a black bin. Night vision was very poor in spite of the spotlights. 9 were caught on this night, of different shapes, sizes and ages. It seems that the only known breeding ground is the Sargasso Sea. As the eels mature, they become silver, and it takes about 15 years. They then return to the breeding grounds right across the Atlantic Ocean. Once they have spawned, they die. The young elvers float like small leaves on the ocean currents, returning to live their lives in rivers and estuaries. Eel numbers are dwindling in our region, but are still plentiful in the West Country, in the tributaries of the River Severn. They are being killed off here by otters, mink, and also by a deathly parasite. The ranger weighs and examines them to record data. The largest one on this night was 4.5 pounds. We were encouraged to handle them to feel the slime they produced to protect themselves. If stroked with a finger, they become rigid. After a fascinating evening's experience, we trekked back along the tracks for 1.5 hours, reaching the church again at 11:15 p.m. Bone weary, but with a sense of excitement and rejuvenation.